Condensate pump for heating and air conditioning. Question: what is a condensate pump? A condensate pump is, an analogy would be, it would be a miniature, similar to a miniature sump pump. So when the moisture accumulates, it may have a float. It pushes the float. When the float is activated, it activates the electronics, and it takes any moisture and begins to pump it. It's a way to pump moisture from a lower part to a higher part. So a condensate pump looks similar to this. And the question, say for instance, when the temperatures get hot in the summertime, as is now, say 85, 95 degrees, 100, 108, whatever temperature it may be, or potentially could be for, so basically when the temperature, if the heating and air is charged properly, it begins to accumulate moisture on the A coil, and it begins to drain, it may begin to drain down. Well, normally it will drain out on a pipe like this and go to the outside if it's gravity fed. However, if it's not gravity fed, one may need a way to pump the moisture uphill. And this is done via a condensate pump. So as we note here, this condensate pump has three larger holes and one orifice. The three larger holes are for the PVC pipe, say the 3/4 inch PVC. Measured this 3/4, it's close to 1 1/16 OD, meaning that the outer diameter is kind of a thicker walled PVC. So the holes, there are 3 holes for the PVC to go in, and I'm not certain if it really even matters which one you put it in. However, after measuring the diameter on this hole, then once the measurements on the hole here, it measures close to 1 1/16 to 1 1/8. So basically, if there's no gravity feed, and then we have the condensate pump that comes off of the A coil, it would simply sit in here. And if you could leave it a little bit up from the bottom, that may be good, so it's able to suck the moisture and it doesn't get accumulated, or if sludge gets on the bottom, it doesn't block the water flow. So the water should flow down, and the water should flow in this direction here, or you can put it in this hole, it doesn't matter, or for that matter you can put it in this hole. So hypothetically, say we put it in this hole. Okay, once the float gets to a certain degree, then it picks up, and there would be a neoprene hose or some type of hose on here, a clear hose, and the pump would pump it uphill as the float underneath here would activate. So, but the question is, what size is this hole? This hole is roughly 1 1/16 to close to 1 1/8. So the OD on this pipe here is close to 1 1/16. So as one can see, it's a pretty close fit, which is good. There's a little bit of room here, but essentially the pipe is here. So, but just sit the pipe down in here. Try not to let it hit all the way on the bottom. Leave a little space here, so when the water drains, then the pump can pick it up, and once the pump, because you don't want water backing up from here to the A coil. So, but the diameter here is close to 1 1/16 to close to 1 1/8 of an inch, and this 3/4 inch PVC pipe will drain the condensate, drip right down through here, and this would be the entrance, and this little orifice here would be the exit, and it would pump it up through a neoprene hose out the side of the building, maybe inside of the conduit, which faces outside of the building. There are multiple ways to do this, but the size of the holes for the drain line for the condensate pump for HVAC uses. Thank you for watching, and have a wonderful day.